Broadcasting alive from the Green Room Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates, celebrating 25 years of home and garden wisdom. Without further ado, your hosts, Josh Cary and David Bates.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning. You know what time it is?
That's what time it is. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for the At Home Show.
Live from the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
That's Josh Cary over there.
That's David Bates over there.
And we got Tyler sitting across the way. Good morning, Tyler.
Morning.
And we have a special guest in studio, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Of course, the regular cast as well. We want to welcome everyone in this morning. We've got a lot of questions in the queue.
It's a hard cast, too.
Yes.
Oh,
we got a lot of questions that are out there in the queue, and we want to encourage you to, if you want to go to our social media connections, be it Instagram or Facebook, just go out there and ask your question. We'll answer those, and we've got about 20 out there. But let's get straight to the weather, and boy, what a day yesterday was. But we'll bring to mention, first of all, there's a wind advisory today, which is almost doesn't even phase you at this point, because yesterday was a bit more than a wind advisory, but we do have we're going to have southwest winds 15 to 25 with some gusts could be up to 45 miles an hour. After we went through what we all went through yesterday, the tension that surrounds a super event of really folks to our west, south, and north were greatly affected by it. And there's probably a lot of folks in studio who are a little sleep deprived because there was no shortage of attention being given to the weather, and we're trying to prepare for things that you have no control over. So, but here's the weather today. We're going to have sunny and windy conditions, 66 degrees and fabulous. I mean, it is going to be, for an April Fool's Day, we're going to do a minimum of tomfoolery. We're going to be...
Yeah, you really?
We're going to be all about it today. It's a great day to get out and do anything, and if you're into gardening, it just can't be better. We've got wonderful moisture in the ground and sunshine. Tomorrow, more of the same, just less of the wind. 67, 52 for the high tomorrow. So we move into Monday. Could be a few showers in the early morning hours, but it will be just cloudy the remainder of the day, as it will be on Tuesday. And you notice we begin to warm back up again. 72 Monday, 81 on Tuesday.
81 degrees.
And we will have the next chance of thunderstorms that could be severe on Wednesday, 74. So just be mindful of that. This is the time of year when weather awareness is should be a part of your
awareness.
You should be looking at it every day just to kind of get the heads up. This is going to likely be a rocking kind of a month weather-wise. So if what we have seen for the last couple of weeks is any indication, just stay tuned. We'll try to do our best to keep you informed and to remind you of the importance of it. Next Friday, we're still looking at showers, and maybe next weekend. The old adage, April showers, is the operative word here. It's either going to be cloudy or showers, but it's going to be mild. There is, at this stage, no really even a remote chance of frost or freezing conditions, but that doesn't mean
that you can't build your Easter bunny trap this week.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it can't still happen.
That's true.
So just be mindful of that. Staying weather aware. There's quite a lot to keep up with, and I am, to say the least, obsessed with the weather, because it kind of dictates much of what we do and how we deal with it. Yeah, kind of does. So anyway, enough out of me. We're glad you all are in this morning. Let's welcome in our regular cast members here. Caroline Gant, Austin Lowen. Good morning, guys.
Yep.
Good morning.
There they are.
Welcome in, and we've got
Austin and Caroline, look to your left.
Hey.
Who is to the left of Austin and Caroline?
They may not know. That's Drew Sullivan.
Oh,
Drew Sullivan.
the Prince of Potions himself.
Good morning, folks.
With Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We're really glad to have you in this morning, Drew.
Good to be here.
And Drew was so happy to be here. He brought a frost blanket with him. We're gonna do a giveaway on that. You got a little glare on that thing there. Get it over kind of a little to the other side. There you go. There you go.
We are.
Frost protection. So that's a 10 by 10 blanket that could go over like a Japanese maple
Man,
or something.
Don't you know people need these things?
So, so Tyler came up with a method that we will do that. And what was that method, Tyler?
You will comment the word to enter the giveaway. Comment anywhere where you're watching the at-home show. Freeze.
Okay.
So that is the word. Just one word.
Freeze, and that enters
Freeze.
you, and then
And we
Does
were
it
going
have to be
pick.
spelled correctly?
I'll be a little bit liberal with the spelling.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
so I won't judge that. But it has to be submitted as a comment. We're going to take your name, add it into a big pile, and we're going to randomly select.
and
the
we're
winner.
going to do the cutoff on that at what time? We need to
the
have
end of the show.
so you're not going to have the drawing before the show?
We
or
will announce it after the show.
on social media.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you'll know, and then you'll be able to come by here and pick it up, and that is courtesy of Drew Sullivan and the great
Yes.
folks at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, and we
They're
And if you-
freezing
if
out
you-
there on Facebook.
That's
so
right.
get
If
out
you
there,
don't,
folks.
if you don't win one, you know where you can come pick one up.
right. And how many locations of Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply are there now, Drew?
You said no hard questions today, David. There is 10.
10. My
10
word.
locations. Yes, sir. We're-
So pretty much everywhere, DickensSupply.com, you can get all that information about where they are. There's a sure to being one near you.
Yeah, well, you can throw a rock in any direction
There you
and
go.
hit one.
we try to have it that way.
So we try to not encourage people to throw rocks. I don't know.
Exactly.
So, with no further ado, let's just
Sure.
get right on with the business of how everyone came through the
Yes.
weather. And here at Bates Nursery, we were I was especially gratified that we got nothing severe. However, about everyone else at home, I know Drew, you and Josh both are
I
south
slept
of
through it.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
So,
good.
no
Nothing
good.
tumbled
Smart.
over on
Everyone else okay? So out in Pleasant View and
It wasn't too far from the Rutherford, Reederville, Woodbury, I believe, got hit.
I was glad that
Hohenwald. So
I did make the decision to go to sleep because I would have been worthless today, and you know there are those who say
Today?
I am anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, okay. But it was, I want to say, a non-event for us. But
It was unfortunately not a non-event for many,
Right.
particularly those up in north of us in Iowa and Illinois. Terrible
yes.
tornadoes, high winds, up to 3-inch diameter hail, devastating. So the information of all that is still coming out as the day unfolds. So I'm sure there'll be much more out on the web about that. But let's deal with the questions that we have at hand. Now, but first of all, I want to get Drew brought you something,
Yes.
Josh, and let's talk about that for just a moment for people who are curious about weed control.
Right.
So,
I have an issue, and I got a real issue.
oh, you got more than one, Josh.
Yeah.
But
That's true. But violets, wild violets.
yeah,
Yep.
well, you know.
It happens in the best of families. I
Pretty
understand.
common around. Middle
Yeah.
Now,
Tennessee.
Drew, this product
But
that
they're
you
hard to get rid of.
this product is called.
You can eat them.
This product is called
Not after I put this stuff on
Triad
them.
TZ.
No.
Yeah.
Triad TZ Select.
Select.
Yes.
The TZ is the fact that it's got triclopyr in it, which makes it more effective on the hard to control weeds.
Yeah, and violets are at or near the top of the list of hard to
Exactly.
control weeds. So people who are and does it? Have you seen where the previous products that we have used at 4-speed XT,
Right.
did a good job of burning it back, but it didn't really get rid of it. So how does
Right.
this stack up against that? Does it do a better job of controlling them?
I would still say if you've had issues with it not controlling, to now, I'm not preaching over the label, but
Right.
if you had trouble controlling at about a 3-week time frame when you've seen them yellow, I would go give them another little drink, and that way I think you'll see them disappear. And make sure you always use a surfactant with these herbicides.
Yep.
Breaking down that waxy coating on that
So-
leaf surface.
Unlike some herbicides, such as glyphosate products that have a surfactant built into them, you need
Right.
to add an additional wetting and surfactant agent that makes that much more effective. If you've ever taken a garden hose and sprayed plants and seen water beat up,
Beat up
and
on it.
bounce off of them, that surface tension gets broken down by use of a surfactant that allows it to spread out and evenly coat the leaf, not just the top, but if you spray correctly, you're going to get the undersides as well.
Exactly.
And that will make your spraying effective. Just hitting it over the top and non-use of.
There's a lot of information in this thing right here.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's hidden from most people in plain sight. So
fairly new product. That's been out a couple
well,
of years.
and you know what I have
got
found.
a lot of new ones.
What I have found over the years, particularly as my recall is less than optimal these days, I have to reread labels frequently. So if you're using products that you haven't used in the last couple of weeks, might not be a bad idea to brush up on it. And if you're a user of many types of products, you know, it can get confused. At least I can get confused on what is what. I would kind of have gotten to the point where I work so as to avoid using them.
Yeah,
But not everybody's on that side. Some people say, no, I want to have a turf grass that is just completely clean of everything else. I want it to be a.
Well, I don't want my lawn to be all violets. I'm with you. I try to limit the
and
usage of
there are
these type of
cultural
things.
methods
Yes,
you could
yeah.
use. You know, normally violets are saying that you might need to put a little lime out.
Yeah.
You need to soil test, and that could tell you for sure.
It does take
but-
a multi-pronged approach to be able to control those. And the wild strawberries are, of course, right next to them as far as difficulty factor. They too are tough. So
Well, this one, just to give you a few of the things that it broadleaf weeds that it helps control. I bet nobody has any
you just need to
of
read them,
that
Josh.
henbit.
Nobody can hear you thinking them.
Knotweed.
Okay, knotweed. There's a good one.
Knotweed.
Yep.
And
tough.
so we'll go with that. So anyway,
Henbit. Nobody's got any henbit.
it's everywhere. So anyway, so you can get that, of course, at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. So check them out, and we appreciate again Drew being here this morning. So if you've got turf questions, that's really where Drew's specialty is, and things that are involved with pest control. So if you have those kind of questions, we're going to do our best to make sure we can get to those to avail ourselves of the expertise that Drew has, and his wealth of those things is extensive. So
And while we love our ornamentals and stuff, the biggest part of your garden is your lawn.
There you go.
well,
Probably the most
many,
plants.
yeah.
Yeah.
for many people, that's true. I would say that trend is not as much as what it once was.
'Cause lots aren't as big,
Lots are smaller, and there's a lot more of it that has landscaping in it. So
No
anyway,
matter what you're growing, it's all about the roots.
exactly
You must
right.
remember that.
And we will be talking about
Roots.
keeping our roots happy and
I
the
love a
benefits you
happy
get
root.
out of it as we go through the
Right.
program this morning. So, Caroline, Austin, jump in here, guys. Thanks again, as always, for being here. And I know we're getting a lot of questions on the lot. I write this weekly newsletter, and I'm trying to kind of coach people up about how to help us, give us the tools to be able to help them to make the decisions on what to do with their plants. Obviously, this freeze that has been talked to death.
That's a key word today, by the way.
It has. We've looked at it from every different angle. Do I replace? Do I not? People are really getting close to the point where that they're trying to make that decision, and for us to be able to help you do that, and I think a lot of people are going, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut these back and give them a little more time, but these or this plant or these plants, I'm going to go ahead and replace now. So photographs and an accounting of how many you've got really helps a lot, does it not, Austin?
Oh, totally, yeah. And, there's a lot of stuff that is coming back. I'd say over the past few weeks, I've been saying that I thought Nandina was pretty much dead on the sticks. I got to say, I saw life the other day. My father-in-law's got like 20-year-old Nandinas that he's had at his house forever, and he cut them halfway back. They were probably at least 6-7 feet tall. He cut them halfway back, and I was looking at them the other day, up and down the stems, and there's little bitty red buds that are cracking new leaves on the stems.
So it's very easy, by that one thing you're saying there, it's very easy to prejudge something as being dead. Now, we've seen things die this winter that we have not seen die before. A lot of damage to conifers that is and we have concluded, and I think correctly, that there's a lot of connection between the drought we had last year and the extreme freeze we had, and the conifers have taken it on the chin simply because they were somewhat stressed going into winter. So a lot of those things, cryptomeria and other plants, the Hinoki cypress, all those that don't look good are probably not going to look good. But broadleaf plants or semi-broadleaf, such as Nandina that you're talking about, have an excellent opportunity to break out. I got a really happy look this week. I was looking at my big King Arthur fig.
Really?
And I could see a little, right at the ground, a little green bud coming out of the ground.
I'm not seeing it yet.
Well, be patient. Don't dig it up yet.
No,
Give
no.
it at least, if you really want to give it your plants the proper opportunity, at least another month is needed. Now, if you don't want to wait, then that's where we're ready to hear and to help you. And so I think I have talked enough for at least the moment.
Well, let's help this fig question that we actually
Fig it.
got in yesterday.
Perfect.
1-year-old
Okay.
figs still have not put out new leaves. Are they done for? I know mine are doing nothing.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't. David, knows where to look, and he's looking way down at the soil level, and he's seeing that first little green leaf. And I bet if y'all were to go out and look, you might be seeing that too, but you might not. It's it's still a touch early for figs. They really like it warm, y'all. They really do. And figs have an extensive root system, and they're not going to die. They're
I don't
certainly
think
not
so.
going to die, but they are going to come back from the roots, and probably not the stems whatsoever this year.
Right, and so I'm gonna have to take a chainsaw to mine. I've got 2.5, 3 inch stems. I mean, they are that big around. So, but they will come back out. Now, I doubt I'll get many figs, or if the ones I get will be very late. I don't know if they'll ripen or not. But don't dig your fig up. I have twice in years past thought I was going to dig my fig out, only to find one little leaf down. So look very closely. Do not do it for at least a month. At least a month.
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
Mine takes a long time. All right, my magnolia tree looks like brown water patches on the leaves. What causes this?
I've seen this a number of times this year, actually, and this is cold stress. This was that just really cold damage that happened, and especially on newly planted magnolias. I'm not sure if yours is new or not, but they seem to take it the worst. I saw a customer brought that in the other day, leaves that had that damage on it, and really that's just the cold damage. It just got so cold so quickly that they couldn't come back from that. Now it's going to crack new leaves from the buds that are tucked on the stems. And that hasn't quite happened yet. The magnolia flush has not happened, but it will. And those ugly leaves, they do look bad.
That is the freezing and exploding
Yes,
of cells
yeah.
at the cellular level, but not overall. It's just specific patches of it. So it's unsightly, but the good thing about magnolias, they are pretty good at putting out new foliage, and even better at getting rid of
They'll
old
shed that
foliage.
old stuff.
They will shed the old
buddy.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes, they will.
That's
All right.
what I hear. I have 2 yellow rose bushes. One put out a lot of new leaves. The other one is still brown. Is it dead?
Probably. Hate to say it.
Oh, that's sad.
But yeah, if especially you can look down along the stems. If a rose is healthy and happy and it's going to re-leaf back out, its canes, its main stems will be green. They really will. If they're brown right now and like brittle or even black as a color, probably not coming back. The other one did, so hey, 1 out of 2, not bad.
Hey, that's part of the confounding part of this whole freeze dilemma is that it seems to be a bit of randomness inserted into it. It's not like, well, this same variety of plant all got the same amount of damage because they're side by side. We're seeing that not being the case.
Not at all. Random is the word. It was so random this year. I mean, so random. All sorts of different plants. Some hollies are green and beautiful right now. Some of them are leafless. And it could be the same variety. It's very, very weird how it happened this year. But, it is what it is. I've got a white iceberg climbing rose. It's a very hardy rose. It's dead. I mean, dead as nails.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great, Caroline. Thank you.
You're
great about
welcome.
Are they collated nails? Or are they just,
You know what rose I lost in the freeze? My knockout rose. It's dead.
Wow.
Really?
I need to take a picture.
See, now that's
I was
random.
surprised.
That's
That's
random.
random.
Yep, I can't
My holly
explain
was
that.
completely fine. No damage at all. My knockout,
That makes no sense.
Don't know how to explain this.
maybe I poisoned it. I don't know. I was ready for it to go.
anytime you mention knockout roses, what do we have to have? We have to have a disclaimer, don't we?
Well, it's a little early for the disclaimer because
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
Yeah, it's not.
It's got to be Rose Rosette that killed
No,
that.
not
No.
yet.
No, it has
Not
to be.
yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I think even the good doctor would back us up on that one.
Okay.
That doctor is Alan
Alan
Wyndham,
Wyndham,
by
yeah.
the way, retired.
Makes good spoons, though. He's making really cool woodwork. Have you seen that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So people are getting excited about the warm weather, and they think it's time to plant. So our next question, do you really think we're going to get another frost this spring? It's been so warm, and the forecast still looks good. Don't do it.
It does. The forecast looks good. That's only, 5 days you can really trust with the forecast, it seems like.
Yeah, right.
And it's early April. I mean, it's the first day of April.
It can't be earlier in April than this.
Exactly. I mean, we can't predict that, though, y'all. I mean, I hope there's not another frost, but
We will get another frost.
Let me,
think? I mean,
let me tell
maybe.
you what happens is at least things we're going to have a nice mild week here, maybe a couple of weeks,
Ooh.
and things are really going to start pushing. We'll get a lot of juiced up tender growth,
yeah.
and then that's when you get a frost because it can really burn stuff. So just be aware of it. That's another good reason to enter in the word freeze on any of our
That's right.
social media and get that product that Drew has brought into the studio this morning. Drew, tell us a little bit about that product while we're talking about it here. Hold that up again so we can kind of see what that's like. Get it in a
10-foot bag.
okay. It's a bag now. It's not just a cover.
It's not just a cover like a sheet. It's a bag that's got a drawstring at the bottom.
Cool.
Where that's the first thing that I think about is a dissectum, where you could drape it over and then tighten at the bottom. You don't have to worry about the wind blowing it
Now,
off.
when he
I
says
mean,
dissectum, he's talking about a lace leaf Japanese
Right.
maple. For
Yeah.
those who might
Right.
not know that particular word, but yes.
yeah, but it's, just when I saw these available, I thought, man, that's a cool product. How many times have I wished I had one of those?
So anyway, and I've really tried to emphasize to folks as we've gone through the spring yet again,
Yes.
that these frost and freezes occur, is that you should have a whole selection, maybe a couple of these little Rubbermaid tubs full of sheets and light blankets and all manner of things to be able to do these freeze protection with. And since you already know what you've got to protect, probably you kind of know what you should have. So if you can. Maybe you can find used sheets at at a thrift store or something, or
And we've got one of these to give away.
just one.
Just
So-
one. So you have to go to any of the social media pages and enter the word freeze.
Freeze. There you go. So back to the questions,
Mm-hmm.
Caroline.
Easiest garden veggies to start growing right now.
Well,
I know I have lettuce and snap peas,
Radishes.
beets,
a lot of those
arugula.
things we can drop from seed is it's pretty good time to do that. I've had lettuce drop for we did this 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We dropped lettuce. I mean, so that's totally fine. Still wait though on the warm season stuff. I think you can try. I mean, if you're good at watching the weather, you want to set tomatoes out. I mean,
No.
I reckon you can do
Too
it, but you
early.
better watch them. I know my
They're
father-in-law.
not going to do much in the
They ain't gonna do
temperatures.
much. They're gonna sit. The soil temperatures are cool still. Night temperatures are still cool. Those warm seasons, veggies are not just gonna sprout yet. So, but yeah, like Caroline said, get those the peas out. They really like cold weather. So
Mine
they'll
are doing great.
Yeah, they'll germinate and give you a crop here pretty soon. And you talk about something easy. I mean, peas and beans are like as seeds go, some of the easiest to drop.
That's why they say easy peasy.
Peasy.
There you
right?
go. Is that what I never?
But if you're going to plant something,
I don't know that that's the reason why, but I just
I think
it
I think it
sounds
works.
you know what else makes it easy peasy?
What?
I think Earth Mix Garden products.
I'm sure of it.
And if you're a neophyte gardener, that means a new one. My wife doesn't like that word, by the way. She's
Neophyte.
She believes it sounds like something. Anyway, if you're
It does sound like something.
if you are a beginning gardener, or if you are a master gardener, or anywhere in between, the success of your products and how well they do has everything to do with the soil and the preparation thereof that you're giving those plants. And when you use Earth Mix Garden products, you have the assurity that you're getting not just the finest products, you're not getting just the best organic blends and straight out products, you're getting the most viable and productive soil products and amendments that are available in the marketplace. And Earth Mix Garden products, this time of year, Earth Mix Garden is the one product that a lot of people are going to be interested in. It's the flagship product of the brand, and that is because it is for what purpose?
Gardening.
It's for garden. That's right.
Yeah.
If you've got a vegetable garden, a raised planter, or if you just want general purpose use, Earth Mix Garden is the go-to blend. If maybe you're thinking about doing some landscaping, maybe you're planting trees or shrub, what
Yes.
product might they consider, Josh?
Landscape?
Earth Mix
Well,
Landscape.
hey.
There you go. So many of the products have names that are descriptive of what they do, and some maybe not quite as clear. Caroline, for instance, would recommend Proganics I for indoor gardening efforts. And the great thing about it is there's no peat in any of Earth Mix products.
It's the beetles.
Therefore, you get no fungus gnats that are really pesky little
nasty.
varmints. You don't want those in there.
Nasty
and so
gnats.
you get the very best of all things Earth Mix garden products. Zero chemically enhanced. It is 100% organic with the best things nature has to offer. Endo and ecto mycorrhizal fungi along with
baby.
humic acid.
Oh, yeah,
And if you want to know where you can get it, well, you can just go over here to findearthmix.com. And when the page comes up, you'll see that there are little pins all over Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, and a number of those will take you straight to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supplies.
Oh, really?
So you can check it out there, and also other wonderful independent garden centers and resellers throughout our network here in Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, and Southern Ohio, even into Northern Alabama now, which is not shown on here yet, but they'll be coming up soon. So just remember this:
Tuscaloosa?
So not that far south.
Good.
No. Success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a moment to discuss that and help you with your gardening efforts. Take the work out of it.
Well, and you know what we don't talk about a lot?
I don't know what we don't talk about. Like this
The
seems like
specialty items inside the Earth Mix line. The Enlighten, the Sustain,
well,
the
and
Viragro.
of course, Sustain is your product that you would use instead of peat. It is coconut coir that has been expanded and shredded already, so it's a ready-to-use coconut coir product. Enlighten is an expanded shale product, and it's great either for incorporating into soil mixes, or if you're having problems with things such as voles, you can mulch with it and around things such as hosta, and the little critters will not dig in it because it cuts their paws.
little feet.
It makes them go somewhere
Little
else.
hands.
So anyway,
Oh,
there's
wow.
a lot of good dual purposes for that product. So check out the entire line at earthmix.net.
You know, speaking of Enlighten, I use it for my succulents. I put it on the top of new plantings to hold them in, and it helps keep indoor potting mix from running all over the place when you have a fresh planting. And it looks very nice.
It does look very nice.
But
yeah,
there's
there's
another option.
There's a ton of those little plants that don't have a ton of, a huge root system, and they after you've pot it, they're wiggly, like they got to root in. So that rock around the stems just keeps them in place nice and tight. Looks great.
Gives it a desert look. So we do have a soil question. We were
All
talking
right.
about Earth Mix, so let's get to it. Lee asks, what soil do you recommend for Japanese maple in containers?
Hey Lee, what's up, my dude? I saw you this week. He's been out. He's a regular around here. Love you, Lee. He loves his Japanese maples. I know he does. If it's me, Lee, I'm going with Landscape on that. Landscape's one of my favorite container mixes that we have. It's also great for planting in the ground. But as a container mix, it's super light. It's airy. It's got all the nutrient that you want in it, and it drains really, really well. I'm going Landscape on that.
Now, if you want something a little bit heavier, Proganics O is the outdoor mix, and it actually does have a small amount of native soil in there with it. So it will be, if you have concerns about things drying out a little too quick, maybe you're not stepping up to a really large container, that might be the better choice. But if you've got a bigger container, I think generally speaking, having poor drainage is the bigger issue than having not enough. So,
And Donna on Facebook asks, is Earth Mix good for tomatoes in potted containers? Oh, heck yes,
Of course.
it is. Oh, yes.
Around the nursery here, we have all these leftover pots, and we all grow different stuff just kind of around the nursery. Everybody's got their potted tomatoes. David's got his potted pepper plants that are hotter than anything you'd ever want to eat. And
I don't know.
yeah, for me. But yeah, we use Earth Mix all over this place to grow our veggies. This is one big potted garden out here, pretty much
Right.
in
Isn't
the
it
spring
fun?
and summer. It's so fun.
Yep.
So, and we use Earth Mix for every last bit of it.
That
All
we
right.
do. Okay, so this question is hits close to home for me, and we've got a couple about this plant in particular. So camellia's still looking dead. People are wondering, do I cut it in half? Do I wait? Do I pull it up? I'm about ready to pull mine up.
I don't think half is going to really be enough on them, unfortunately. And join the club. The one thing I want people to understand, as horticulturalists, we were not exempted from the damage to freeze.
Not at all.
Do I get an amen on that one?
Amen.
Gosh.
I've got camellias at my house that I'm pretty sure they're not coming back, but I'm not digging them up yet.
No.
You could probably go ahead and cut them 3/4 of the way back. The only reason I wouldn't cut them all the way back is if you have to dig them up,
It's easier to find
you
them.
want to leave yourself a handle to grab a
Yeah.
hold of to get them out of the ground. So
Well.
they're damaged severely, if not dead.
Speaking of the randomness of camellias, I've got 3 in a row, like literally 2 feet from each other, and one of them leafless. I mean, 100% looks awful, like no leaves at all on it. The other 2 are still clinging on to green leaves, and then I can see some buds that seem to be okay, kind of. So why is that? I have no idea. Like the one that is the most damaged is not even exposed to the most like wind or elements or whatever.
Random.
It's
That's-
so random. So, but yeah, we're with you there. My camellias don't look good, and I love my camellias. I'm so upset.
Did you lose anything, Drew?
No.
Okay.
Well, this guy's exempt. Wow.
Well, I'm
Where
in
do
a
you live?
Where do you live, Florida?
I'm in a condo. So
Oh, okay.
all of my, and I'm redoing my patio. I've got raised beds that I just had my vegetables and cut flowers in, so they were gone anyway. I take that back. One rose, a Mr. Lincoln is gone.
Oh, no.
But-
Well, that's not the only Mr. Lincoln that's gone.
Exactly.
Alan Lincoln is still amongst the living, and we're grateful for that. But he's not working here anymore, so we wish him well in his retirement. And
We have to raise him up every now and then.
I'm
though. We
gonna
do.
sneak him back in here one of these days just
Oh,
to make
he's coming
sure.
in.
You want me to kidnap him and get him over here one more?
Well, I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
We need to. All right. Well, back to the questions.
Best evergreen shrub for shade that pairs well with hosta.
What do you love, Caroline? I know what you're going to say on this one.
Yew, boxwood,
Use.
both of them. I do love
Plum
yews.
yews.
I love
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
The good old Japanese plum yew. We've talked about it a lot. It's an underused plant. I really think it's almost got fern-like foliage. Caroline mentioned that yesterday on our little question segment. It does. It's got that look about it. It's a good space filler for just evergreen foliage. You don't have a ton of broadleaf evergreens that really thrive in the shade, and that's a needle-like evergreen, which is even more rare. They can handle shade, and they can handle deep shade. They really can. They did not like this cold weather this year
did
either.
not. They did
Not at all. My
not.
sister's got some, and they look bad.
I have seen a hedge of them. It's not far from where I live that are toast.
Toast.
I mean, and it's
not good.
really extremely disheartening. They were beautiful.
I know. And their cousin, though, the just regular yews, when we say yews, Y-E-W is the word we're using. And,
Yes.
And like dense yew and Hicks yew, the
Don't talk
sun-loving
about the
one.
sheep being dense.
No, that's EWE, Judge.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
But they didn't seem
Still
to take a
another
hit. They
yew.
were one of the best evergreens that
Yes.
for this winter. I mean, they didn't brown up, bronze up, nothing really for the most part. They look great. So once again, the randomness of this winter.
wild times.
It
All
is.
right.
Let's talk about boxwood, y'all.
Oh, wow.
Treatment for boxwood leaf miners. Bonus if safe for pollinator friends.
Hey, let's bring Drew in on this one, Drew.
That's tough.
Talk
That,
to us.
It is tough.
you know, when you're talking about your pollinator friends, the go-to is imidacloprid, and you know
And
that's going to be tough.
now
on
that's
your
a
pollinator.
that's a systemic.
Systemic, yes.
It's
Right.
systemic, yes, but
But-
it's very effective on leaf miner.
It is.
You know, you could do oils, horticultural oils. You should have probably already done that
About
to-
a month ago.
Yeah, to coat the foliage where that would not let the little eggs and whatnot breathe on there and possibly hatch out. But yeah, imidacloprid's definitely the best thing on leaf miner.
The good thing about that too is that boxwood's not going to be like this big, beautiful flowering plant that's going
Right.
to attract all these pollinators.
Right.
So it's not
it's still
that big of a
kind
deal.
of an insignificant little bloom on there.
Yeah.
So it is on the label to watch those.
Yeah, and this year, however insignificant they usually are, they'll be much more so this year because
They got burned.
and they've been trimmed a lot, and a lot of
Yeah.
new growth will be emerging. So if you're going to use that product and you're concerned about the use of it, that's probably one of the safer ways to do it, where you don't have to worry about any contact that bees might have.
Right.
With it.
You can also, as a kind of a post when the miner, the little flies are in flight, you could do them with like a citrus oil, something to, knock back and break the new generation would help that way.
And when you say when you say citrus oil, what are you talking about specifically? Is it a product called citrus oil?
Right, there's some insecticides, some organics that have oils in them.
Well,
different oils.
And they
But it's
literally
not-
smell like oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not neem oil though.
No, it's not neem, but neem. They might be on the label for neem oil also. I'm not absolutely sure, but that way when the adult is flying around, which that's what starts all this, to get them that way. And I'm going to throw out here a little plug for Dickens. Your boxwoods coming back out after you've trimmed them. We've got a fertilizer. We've got a 312 with mycorrhiza. Our 312 is poultry with all of the meals, your alfalfa meal, bone meal, blood meal, kelp meal. Really does a great job on boxwood. We've had a lot of folk come back in and say, "Hey, man,
You think
And
they
I
might?
tell-
Would it help Austin's dead ones or orange?
the dead ones?"
You just had to bring it up, Josh.
We've been
but-
talking about camellia. I'm sad already, and you just throw it in the boxwoods. 14 of them look dead. Thanks, Josh.
It's worth a try, though, isn't it, Drew?
Well,
Right.
but,
No, I don't know if they're dead.
but
I don't know.
organics, I believe, are difference makers. And whether
Right.
you use that,
Yes.
Earth Mix Supernatural is our organic compost that has many of those same things in it as
Right.
well. So you can
Yeah.
get a 2-for-1. Although it's not sold as a fertilizer,
Fertilizer.
but your plants don't know that.
That's right.
Now, Annette, you've made a comment about growing clematis on a structure, but you don't really tell us what kind of structure it is. But normally that's grown on like an arbor, isn't it? Clematis?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go like
It's
a
a climber.
trellis,
Trellis,
or your,
fence, arbor.
or rails on decks and stuff like that. Be gorgeous. Yes.
I've got clematis already like 7 feet tall at my house. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got 5 of them planted, and 4 of them came back. One of them didn't. Of course, it's the one in the middle.
Of course.
Thanks. At
least it's even.
At least it's even. Yeah, thanks. The one in the middle not coming back. I got to get a new one. But anyway, yeah, clematis came out early this year, and it's still kicking. Mine's looking real good.
Mine's going wild right now.
Yeah.
Do you keep its feet cool? Don't they?
Mine are in shade, the
Yeah.
feet.
Mine are in full sun on a brick wall. No,
Okay.
their feet are not cold.
That is not cold.
They got hot feet. They're wearing socks at my house.
They're wearing wool
Booties.
socks in their
Yeah.
house.
Okay.
Austin, how is that possible?
What do you mean?
Full sun, clematis?
I mean, it gets it all day long on a brick wall. Clematis can handle full sun. We keep our clematis. We used to keep our clematis out in the shade area, and now me and Joy have talked about it. And Joy, our perennial leader down there, she's got them now in the full sun, and they sit outside on our lot in the full sun now. They seem to do better.
The sun is great for the foliage, but when the soil temperature starts to get high, that's where the issues arise.
Yeah.
Typically out of clematis. So if you can put them in a spot where there's some foreground planting that keeps the soil shaded and only the soil, then the tops are great for the
I
soil.
will say I've got boxwood out in front of them, and they probably
ones?
do throw a little. No, they're not the dead ones.
Oh, okay.
Quit with the dead ones.
even dead boxwoods will provide a little shade. Hey, well, get back to the questions there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
we
so-
need to remind everybody to put freeze in your social media.
Yeah, stick that in your social media.
Yes.
Put it in the comment box.
Yep.
Before we get to our next question, this does relate to that. I just want to say we got our huge shipment of citrus trees in a couple days ago, as well as our giant shipment of tropical. So hibiscus, ferns, mandevilla, all of that is in the nursery. It is out and it's ready to go. So our next question has to do with the pink guava we got in. And I think there's only one left. And this listener is wondering if it does well in Tennessee winter. No, it does not. I think it's only hardy to zone 9.
Wow.
So about
So
Nowhere
doesn't-
near it.
It
It will
doesn't,
die.
near it.
it
will
doesn't do
die.
good in Florida winter.
It will go out quickly. Yeah, I think about 25 degrees is going to zap that pink guava. But on a bright side, you can keep it inside in the winter.
A
So
great container plant.
Tyler's actually going to get one.
I am. I'm excited.
Look at him.
I feel like I've grown that. Isn't it like vigorous? Doesn't guava like take off?
I've never grown one before.
I think
mean,
I
the
grew
plants
one
we
years
got in
ago.
are big and healthy. The leaves are actually pretty gorgeous. They have like a
They look-
leathery look leaf.
and they're
it's kind of
like-
like,
like-
a viburnum.
Kind of like purpley coming out, right? Am I thinking right? Purplish reddish new growth.
It's a little. It's
Maybe I
darker.
haven't grown
It's
pink
darker.
I can't remember.
Maybe you
everything I've
want to
grown.
grow pink guava.
Well,
and
maybe
you
I'll
should
get
buy
one.
that last one.
Moving along.
Yeah.
Best plants for sound deadening. Loud area, and I'd like a little more peace in the yard.
Okay. Well, you need something dense. Okay, that's the biggest key, I guess. So, like green giant arborvitae is really dense and full all the way through.
If you've got the room,
If you've got the room, they get big. Hollies can do this. There's a number of hollies that can help out with that. Planting trees, though, isn't like an end-all solution to deadening all of the sound. It'll help a little, but not quite as much as you think it would. So, like I said,
on a winter night when the traffic is going by, you could have a forest out there, and you're still going to hear it.
Well, noise abatement typically it requires a lot of different things to have success at it, and perhaps a single row of anything is not going to be enough. You would do much better if you can have multiple rows, if you have the space to afford that much. Tall conifers in the back, and then maybe some lower, slightly lower growing bushy types of evergreen, and it could be deciduous like viburnum or something like that. That would also. So there's a lot of things you can do.
The insulation in your attic, the insulation in your floor, your walls, if it exists.
Well, when you're in the house, those are all helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, but maybe you're not in the house, Josh,
because you can hear it.
I was going to suggest offset planting.
Yes.
And fill those gaps so you don't really have much
noise
traffic.
canceling headphones. I have found are effective.
Super.
Yeah.
Super
All
duper.
right.
So there is one thing that I've been seeing around town: little flowers on trees, stuff coming up, and I know our listeners are wondering
What's in bloom? With Austin.
never gets old. There's a lot of things blooming, mainly trees right now, though. The trees are going, y'all. What have you noticed? I know you've all noticed it. The whites and the pinks. The dogwoods. They're open. And dogwoods look really nice this time. Everybody loves a dogwood tree. I bet it's still our #1 selling tree, I bet. Don't you think? I don't know.
I think
bet
so.
it is.
We sell a lot. Yeah.
White dogwood. You can't have enough of them. Next thing, crabapples still holding on out there. Some of them are even, like the white ones right now, are lit up. Crabapples have been fantastic this year. The pink ones also looking good, but the pink ones are starting to kind of go on their way out. They've already kind of had their full show. What else? Redbud's still going on. They'll keep it going. Cherries are still going. Yoshino cherry has actually been a pretty good year for them.
Probably about a week or two away from Kwanzans coming in.
Yep, the Kwanzans are a little bit later.
That's the pink flower.
That's the pink flower ones.
Put on
Yep,
a good
the
show.
double. Now working into the shrubs, we've got quince is still in bloom. Forsythia's about done. You might still see a little bit of yellow out there, but not a ton of shrubs quite yet. They'll be getting there real soon. Some little perennials are coming, though. Creeping phlox is spread out all over everybody's yard. You notice those, the whites, the blues, and the pinks, the carpet that just fills people's beds. They can even pop up in people's lawns. Those are in full show right now. Tulips are in bloom. Caroline showed me a beautiful picture of a little tulip she's got, a little yellow one. Looks great. Pansies are going. I sent a picture to you, Tyler. I don't know if you can get it up or not of my pansies right now, but they are
You're
money.
sneaky.
I am sneaky. And then I'm going to sneak one more in that nobody thinks about, and that's called pulmonaria. Don't know if you're growing it. Don't know if you're growing it or if you've ever even heard of it. But it's this
Lungwort?
yes, that's a
lungwort.
common name. It's a shady, loving little perennial that can handle some good full sun, but it's got spotted white leaves. Green leaves with white spots all over them, which is really rare. And then it's got blue and pink blooms that atop the foliage, and they are in bloom right now. My mother-in-law is growing it, and it is showing off right now. So another one you don't think about for a shady bed. You may have never even heard of it, but it's something you might want to stick out there if you want some blooms early.
Well,
So
there you go.
That's what's in
Wow.
bloom.
All
We've
right.
missed that segment. What to replace my dead Chinese fringe flower that won't get quite as tall?
All right.
Ooh.
Well, okay, so fringe flower, first off, has purple foliage. You don't see this very often in the plant world, okay? You don't see a ton of purple foliage on shrubs, so may not be able to, if you wanted to go like a deciduous route, barberry is good about foliage color. It's very typically reddish. If you like the foliage color, if that's what you're growing it for, you can go the barberry route. But there's a number of other full sun loving plants that have green leaves that stay a little bit smaller. One that comes to mind that we got in yesterday is called the Pugster Blue butterfly bush. This little series is a dwarf variety of butterfly bush. It's got chunky leaves and it's got really fat blue blooms.
So
and I'm telling
fat.
you, blue, like, I know I use blue loosely around here. We all do. Most of the time, it's more purple than blue.
I'd
These
say
are-
they're waffle cone size.
they are
balloons.
huge, and
Wow.
it's only like like a little 3-footer, a little roundy moundy shrub, but throws a ton of color that blooms throughout the summertime, and the buds and the flowers on it are huge, and hence the name butterfly bush. Butterflies absolutely love it, and they'll be all in the garden. So maybe check that one out.
Hey, one of the things we do a lot on this program, and you hear us throw a lot of cultivar names and names of all kinds of plants that some of you're very familiar with. Others, like we just heard of pulmonaria, a little more obscure. But whatever you're looking for in your lawn, your landscape, we've got it right here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Now we got in yet another shipment of early annuals, some of which should not be planted yet, but people want them anyway, so we've got them. And as long as you protect them and you're willing to do so, there's nothing wrong with getting them now. But you got to understand that it's likely we haven't had our last frost yet. So just beware should you decide to do that. But when you go down to the greenhouse area, and it's kind of hard now to draw the line between where the sales lot ends and the greenhouse begins, because we have done this extensive structure, which gives us a lot better ability to display things and protect our plants and have the best growing environment for your things, for your yard. And not only do we have the best plants, bar none, and I will tell you this, I will brag unashamedly on the staff that I've been fortunate to accumulate here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. If you have horticultural questions, you will get good answers here. And it's not that everybody here knows everything, but between the group of us, we will come up with an answer. The things like I talked about in my blog post this week, and that blog post, by the way, is just go to batesnursery.com. You see that green box that says new blog post. You just click on that, and that will give you this week's article. And that actually is half measures from last week.
I'll go fix that.
But the new one will be up there, and it's a little more, might seem a little more obscure. And that was called
Scroll down to the bottom, David.
Distant Strangers, and
there you go.
Bottom left of the page.
Bottom left.
Go back to the Bates homepage.
Go back to the Bates home. This is such good. This is so smooth. We'll not worry about that.
You know what
it'll,
you see? Yeah,
it'll be
the
up
blog.
there.
Yeah.
If you got the blog, you know that we talked about
Thursday afternoon comes in.
doing the things that can help us to help you get your things done. You may have so many things that have gotten damaged or questionable, and it probably makes no sense to try to tackle all of it at once for many folks. I mean, not only is it a lot of work, it's not cheap either. So you may need to kind of prioritize. So the things that look the worst, maybe in the front of the house, is where you want to start your action, and then you kind of develop a plan and give yourself a little more time for things that perhaps might still come out. So bring photographs. Get a good count on how many things that you think you are replacing, and if you want to replace it with the same thing, or if you're open to a suggestion for something else, we can take you either direction here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, where for 91 years we have been bringing the best of everything horticultural and gardening to Middle Tennessee. We're very grateful to have this opportunity, and we look forward to seeing you coming out and see us soon. It is that time of year. You should reasonably expect there to be a lot of other people here when you come shop. So come. Fortunately, the weather will be outstanding today. It's going to be pleasantly cool and sunny. So come on out and take your time and shop around Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
We're going to be outstanding in the lot, too, to help you today.
Absolutely.
And you
We ain't
see
gonna be standing
cool
much.
stuff like a chorus. This stuff is striking. That's in front
It
of
is
us.
beautiful. It's a great sage.
All right, let's get a few more questions
Okay.
in. A red bud planted last fall only has a couple buds. Hopeless?
Ooh.
No.
Not hopeless if it's got a couple buds. I mean, it seems like it might be okay. We got to you got to wait till it leaves out. I mean, a young red bud that you planted last year may not have a ton of flower buds, okay? I mean, they're not going to be lit up like those ones that have been growing for a long time. So they have just started to kind of want to crack their leaves. So they haven't really, they haven't thrown all their leaves yet, and they haven't really started doing that yet. So give it a minute. And like I said, don't expect just a ton of flowers this year, but you should see leaves, and they'll be coming out soon. I'm sure of it.
Okay, we've got a strawberry question, and they have quite a few questions within this question.
Okay.
Strawberries
Oh.
directly in the ground, raised beds, pots. How many for a nice crop? So, how do
Lots.
you grow them?
Okay, so you can do any of those methods.
Yes.
You're not going to get a nice big crop if you grow them in pots. I'll go ahead and tell you that. You get a
Nope.
few handfuls, you know what I mean?
But a strawberry jar is a cool looking thing.
It is a cool looking
So
thing.
It's also
cute.
a
It
great
works.
vessel for birds to perch and peck the strawberries.
Oh, that's great.
exactly.
I really love my,
Point time.
I
Keeps
love
them
my
having-
birds eating my strawberries.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in, birds. Eat all these.
I actually
Squirrels don't even have to bend over.
I
to
really
get
like seed them hens and chicks and those kind of things in those strawberry jars better than actual
Yes.
strawberries.
Yes.
But
If you really want a good crop of strawberries, make yourself a strawberry patch. That's kind of, and honestly for me, I'm a black plastic, have an area designated for strawberries. Strawberries like to run. They send out runners, okay? So you'll have your main plant here, and then it'll send out this long, elongated stem, and then produce another strawberry, plant over here. There's a number of them will do that. So whenever you do this, if you do this in the ground, weeds pop up in between all that. Really annoying to weed a strawberry patch. If you've never done it, you don't want to. So don't even start. Just lay yourself out and get a nice patch of soil or a raised bed, cover it with black plastic, cut a little X in it, and then plant your strawberry plants in that. Whenever a runner is sent out and you want it to root, then you need to cut a little hole in that plastic below that plant so it can root down below. And that'll help with weed control, and that'll probably give you the best crop.
Okay.
I made the mistake of planting one plant in the ground, and it has taken over, and I can't find my strawberries because of all the grass and weeds.
I know.
So listen to Austin.
And it's annoying.
What is a good native ornamental grass that can grow well in wet clay soil?
Ooh.
You know where I'm going?
Where are you going?
Little blue stem.
Oh.
It's so cute.
That is
Big
a
blue
cute
stem
one.
too. Bluish foliage for a native grass. I know Joy absolutely loves this grass. We sell a lot of it. Truly native, and it lives in wet soils. It's got a extensive root system to really hold itself up, and it's a beautiful little grass. Sends up seed heads in the late summer into fall. You can't beat it. I'm going little blue stem on that one.
Okay.
Hey, just give me just a moment here. Let's talk with Drew for just a moment. We're really grateful to have you in studio today, Drew. And the history of Bates Nursery and Garden Center and Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply goes all the way back to the beginning of when Dickens Turf and Landscape, back to Paul Dickens back in the day, and we all, those who knew Paul, all have many wonderful stories. Some of them are even true.
That's right. Some of them may be true. Yeah.
But Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply is a great company because they do all the things that we don't do, and vice versa.
Right,
They are a company. If you're looking for the chemicals, if you're looking for the vast array of fertilizers, if you're looking for equipment, they have all that. They've got 10 locations. Go to dickenssupply.com. And you'll see there in all the things they have. Just give them a quick overview, Drew, of what Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply does for everyone in the Middle Tennessee area.
Well, we carry, like you said, anything to do with turf or landscape that's not a live plant. We sell all the fertilizers. We've got a complete organic line that we put together ourselves. We're not just a broker. We have all these made to order. We carry all types of grass seed, which we take care and buy the best up-to-date varieties that will do great in our soils around here. And it's a challenge. We're in the transition zone, so we can work with you and give you a plan specific for your lawn if you'd like to go that way.
New homeowners need to go see the
That's right. It requires a soil test, but you give us your square footage and we take the results of this soil test and we'll put a plan together specifically for you. We carry several lines of lawn mowing equipment. We have mechanics at all of our stores, at least one. We're up to like 3 mechanics at a couple stores now.
And that's a huge difference between going to a box store and buying a piece of equipment and what you get when you deal with the folks at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. You're going to get not just the product, but you can get service after the sale to keep your products running the very best.
Yeah, try taking one back if you have an issue, because you're going to have an issue with a piece of equipment. Try taking one back to the
Well, they send them to us. Is what they do. And the thing is, you don't go to the front of the line there, just to be straight honest with you. We take care of our customers, and I think that's the way it should be. But, basically, we'll help you grow all kind of things. We carry products for landscape plants. We sell mycorrhizae in bulk that you can mix with the beds. We carry the earth mix products from the nursery here. Just like I said, anything that's not a live plant. Tools, we have great professional tools. We've talked for years about it's the ones that the contractors use.
Right.
I mean, you're just not buying a shovel that's going to snap.
Professional quality tools are difference makers.
Yes.
So anyway, make sure you go out and and check out all the great
Heirloom
locations wherever you live.
Okay.
And not just in Middle Tennessee, they're over in Maryville as well. And
Marvel.
Knoxville and Maryville.
So,
Maryville.
there you go. Check them out. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. And Drew, we want to thank you again for being
Yeah,
on here
great
today.
to be here.
And mention one more time.
Okay.
Let's hold that product up.
Yep.
We're giving away. This is a bag to protect a special something from a freeze. Of course,
Right.
that
You
word
have
is-
6 minutes to write freeze on here, and by the way, don't send a message to the page. You have to comment in line. But I'm gonna let Sally slide. I put her name in.
Okay. All
I'll let
right.
her-
So anyway, she's got inside connections.
She
probably
does.
messaged you. So anyway,
no, she messaged the page. She didn't.
okay, back to Caroline. Guide us through the rest of the way here.
Here we go. 3 more questions.
Okay.
So many of our evergreens died. What's the best time to plant new compact holly bushes?
3:30.
3:30, no
That's
doubt.
right. We know the answer
Exactly.
to that.
There it is.
But yeah, anytime, right? I mean, now is time to the time to plant. I mean, springtime is when we think about planting. So it's in hollies are little evergreens. So get them in the ground.
Yeah, frost and freezes are not a consideration for woody ornamentals and trees and shrubs and that kind of thing. So, don't be thinking that you've got to be waiting to do it at a time that's more appropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What to do for Japanese maple that was covered in frost but now withered and damaged?
Just look at it and be sad, but then
Look at
realize
it and be happy.
it's gonna be good again. I'm doing the same thing. I've got this little frost cloth that he's brought in the room. I wish I had one the other day. I've got a weeping Ryusen Japanese maple that is fantastic.
Oh.
It's like a specimen in my bed. I covered it with sheets. Well, didn't cover it good enough. Didn't have a good enough sheet. The wind blew. It kind of whipped it. So a lot of the new growth is black, and I mean black. Yeah, it's not fun. It's highly annoying. But I do know this has happened to me in the past with Japanese maples that will just kind of fall off and new buds will crack and form. And it's already happening, actually. A
Right.
bunch of new stuff's already coming on. So you can go out there and kind of take off the damaged pieces if you want just to make it look better. But do know, good things are on its way. It will be fine.
Yep. I had a couple damaged and they already look fine. Can't see the damaged leaves. Can emerald green trees be trimmed? And that is our final question
And
of
that's,
the morning.
I guess they're referring to an emerald arborvitae.
Yes,
isn't
I
it?
believe so.
Emerald green trees could kind of be almost any tree that has green leaves on it, but it's a conifer. So shaping is really all you're going to want to do on those. It doesn't lend itself well to
It's a
being
light haircut.
Yeah, and the ones that are grown in the fields, wherever they come from, have all had some side shearing done to them. They do get these little arms that'll stick out there every now and then. Just prune those off, and it'll keep them symmetrical.
Yes.
And they're really very easy, and it takes very little trimming.
Yeah.
You can trim them to perfection, however. If you have a pair of like ARS shears you could get from
Ooh,
Dickens
yes.
Turf and Landscape Supply, like I have in my-
KR1000s.
they are. I mean, they are the deal. Now, a cautionary statement: they are a professional tool. They are razor sharp.
Yep.
Razors.
Do not put your finger on that blade.
No.
It will cut you. But for trimming, for doing fine trimming in particular, boxwood or things or topiaries, there's no other tool that'll do what ARS shears will do.
Yeah, I think the word you said there is shaping. Shaping is the key for emeralds. Just to, you're not going to just like crazy trim them, but yes, they can certainly be.
They
trimmed.
are a pointy, upright conifer. That's the shape they're going to be in. So, you're trying to just enhance that, make them more uniform,
Poodle
possibly. There's some people who do some things with some topiary emeralds, but they require a lot of doing to keep them looking that way.
Yep.
Frankly.
Hey, Caroline.
Yay.
Sherry Gant wants to know if you got lemon trees yet.
Hey, Cher.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Sherry Gant. Yes, we do. We have a ton, all different sizes, all different shapes. And yes,
Ponderosa,
I will
Meyer,
send
improved Meyer, variegated.
2 aside for
While
Aunt Sue.
supplies last.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of those things that we're not able to get them all the time. So if you've been thinking about one, and I'm not trying to say that just to incite
A rush?
a rush on citrus, but we have a selection right now that's as good as we will like to have the entire year.
Okay, we're going to the contest is going to close, and you will be notified via the social media platform that you went through, I assume, and we will
Yes.
it will be announced.
Oh.
The prize will be here at the nursery.
Yeah, here at Bates
Yes.
Nursery. And if you want more of those, or if you
Yes.
didn't win and you want one, go by and see Dickens Turf
They're
and
not
Landscape
expensive.
Supply.
It's
No,
it's
they're
a
not.
$20 value for that bag over there, but it's
Yeah.
And we also have blankets. We have
Yes.
frost blankets
So,
also.
and and if you're really going to be proactive about, and you're worried about late frost and freezes, don't wait until the frost and freezes.
right.
No.
Go ahead and get it now and lay them in your little shelf area where you'll be ready for them when that occurs. Because if it doesn't happen this spring, it'll happen sometime.
Hey, and also real quick if you want to be proactive when it comes to Dickens, take your weed eaters, take your lawnmowers up
Oh,
there to them,
yes.
get them serviced before the season.
Thank
It's
you,
about to
It's
Austin.
too late to be proactive,
Yeah,
but
where's its on?
Almost every other year, I'm bringing my weed eater to y'all, and y'all are cleaning
It's
it out
on.
for
hey,
me.
make
so.
sure you go out and see all the great locations, Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Drew Sullivan, we
Thank you.
for coming on today.
Great to
It's
be
a
here.
busy time in this world. I hope you get to come back to see us very soon. You just tell us.
I-24 is messed up, so be careful and be patient
careful,
on the
that's
way
right.
out.
All
here,
right,
so.
everybody, stay weather aware as
Yes.
we go through the week. Stay tuned. We'll be right here.
Yeah, we will.
Right here.
Okay, right here.
Right here.